Hey guys, thanks for watching Precision Rifle Network. Today we are reviewing the Tract Toric 4.5 to 30 by 56. Alright, so I have been meaning to get to a review on this scope for quite some time now. I've had the scope for several months. I could blame COVID for dragging my feet, but really it just boils down to wanting to give you an honest review of the scope. And so I keep these things for a while. I use them in different conditions. I run them. I want to give you an honest review of a scope. I don't want to just get a scope in hand, look at it, maybe shoot it once or twice, and then, spit out what I like about a thing. I want you to be able to trust the review that you're hearing. And for this one, I'm going to launch right into my positives because I think it's the biggest portion of this scope. I was skeptical, but what I do really like about the Tract Toric optic specifically, there's a bunch of stuff. I'm going to give you a few because we could make this video drag on for 20 or 30 minutes easily, and that's not the kind of video that I am all about making. So to start this out with, I'm just going to give you some of the specs. I'm going to run it down. I'm going to tell you what I liked, a few negatives, which are, negatives. We put that in air quotes because it really boils down to my opinion versus somebody else might love the thing that I think is a negative. So it's, it's just subjective. So the first thing is this is a 4.5 to 30. Now I thought starting out that I would not need or like the extra magnification range. The vast majority of scopes that I have owned over the years have been in the 20 to 25 power maximum range, and in competition I have rarely been above 18 to 20 power in competition. So I've always just thought of that extra magnification as pointless. It's just useless. Why is it there? Not to mention that when you zoom in that far, you start losing quality and brightness of the glass and things like that. But this scope surprised me in that regard. Not necessarily the brightness, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it doesn't lose any brightness, that it's crisp and clear and bright all the way to the far reaches of the magnification range. That would not be true. It does lose some quality when you zoom all the way in. Every scope is like that, every single one, at least of all the ones that I've tested. And what I found was I really kind of like that extra power range when it comes to shooting 100-yard groups, just as one example. I can see my bullet holes in the paper downrange, right? And that's kind of nice to be able to zoom in that far and see where I hit, as opposed to having to walk downrange and check my impacts and then come back and make my corrections. Another thing that is kind of nice about it is when you're trying to get a good visual representation of a target out at farther distances, and you're trying to tell, hey, is that target actually, turned a little bit? Is it canted? Is it on kind of a hillside? Whereas a lower power optic, you may not be able to get that good visual representation of what's actually happening downrange. That extra magnification gives you that better, sight picture is the wrong term to use, but it gives you more information because you can get closer to your target visually and see what's going on. That's pretty nice. And the glass it kind of works together in that is the glass is good enough quality that once you do zoom in, it doesn't get all distorted and blurry. You're able to resolve detail, and you've got a good crisp contrast out of it. It's not perfection, guys. I'm not going to try to tell you that a $1,600 optic is perfection. It's just simply not, but it is really good for that money. I think you get a lot of features for that price range, and so I'm just giving you a few of the things that I like. Another thing that I like is the feel of the turrets. It seems like these guys put a lot of time and effort into the scope just making sense. Like, nothing stands out to me in terms of like, man, why did they do that? I don't get it. Like, from the reticle to the turret feel to the, capped windage and capped elevation turrets and the zero stop and the parallax and the way that the magnification ring turns, all of those things, nothing gives me pause. Nothing stands out as this is ridiculous or this is not useful or any of those kinds of things. So they put a lot of time and effort into giving you the things that make sense, the things that you need for competition, and making the way that those things come across in their product as high quality as they possibly can for that money. And again, I would put this scope right up next to scopes that cost $500 and $600 more expensive than it does. I just think it's a really, really good option, guys, for PRS, NRL style competition, extreme long range. You know, the ELR is in the name of this optic even. It would be really good for an ELR, application. I just think I think it's a great option. I personally like the color. It's like a sniper gray, which looks good on a lot of different types of rifles. I think there are a lot of positives. It's got high quality shot glass in it, guys. It's fully multi-coated, looks really nice. Lighted reticle. Speaking of the reticle, it's a Christmas tree style, like found in many competition type guns. Nothing in the reticle makes you wonder what the heck were they thinking, or visually nothing really gets in the way. It is really nice. Now, another kind of negative is that if, because you've got 30 times magnification, and that reticle, since it's first focal plane, is going to get, bigger in size as you zoom in. The issue with that is that then on the far low end, like the 4.5, 5, 6, 8 times even, the Christmas tree reticle is not even usable, right? It's too thin, it's too small, you can barely see it, at least to my old eyes. Now, some of you younger guys, you probably wouldn't have trouble at all, and I realize even saying that makes me sound ancient. Anyway, I just think that's kind of a downside for me, is personally my eyes couldn't pick up the how thin that reticle was on the lower power range. But you have to do that, right, when you have a magnification range up to 30. Otherwise, when you got up to 30, the reticle would be so dang thick you wouldn't be able to use it. So there's a give and a take there, and you just kind of got to pick the right tool for the job, right? You're not going to pick this scope to put on a lightweight hunting rifle where your intended shot is maybe a max of 500 yards. You're just not going to do that. It wouldn't be the right tool for the job. So for the jobs that this particular scope was created, I think it's an excellent choice. The negatives, I've said a couple of them. One of the other ones is just the height of the turrets. I can envision a ton of different barricades that we typically shoot off of in PRS, NRL type competition, where these high turrets on this scope are going to get banged up like nobody's business. I would prefer to have a lower profile turret. It's not really, again, it's my opinion, it's not really that big of a downside. The price is obviously a positive, because I think all the features that you're getting, the glass, the reticle, lighted reticle, the turret feel, all the controls just make sense. For an MSRP of, like $16.95, I think it is, you're getting a lot of scope for that. The tracking was spot on. I had no issues with that. Customer service, I can't really tell you because I didn't have any issues with the scope, which is a good thing. But I have been watching these guys, John and John over there at Tract Optics, for the last few months on social media. And whether it's those guys or whether they've got a media team, I'm not sure. But whoever it is responds pretty quickly on social media. So that has to bode well for them. I think it's worth every penny of the money they're asking. And if you're into PRS or NRL or extreme long range, even a high-end 22 long rifle, something like that, this could be a really good option for you. On that note, I guess I should tell you, it parallaxes down to 25 yards, which is important to some guys if you're running them in the 22 long rifle type competitions. It's a good scope, guys, and I can recommend it after having used it for some months now. So with all that being said, guys, I think it's a great choice. Thanks for watching. Tune in again soon for another great video from Precision Rifle Network.